I'm excited. Let's do this.
Welcome to the Wellness Business Success Secrets, and I am here with Dai Manuel. First of all, I have to let you know that I am just totally honored because this guy, if you guys have not heard of Dai Manuel, then where the heck have you been if you're in the wellness industry? Because there is so much buzz. There is so much out there about him that it's time to be in the know. Because Dai has been on so many different media channels. He's all over social media. You are. You've got every single outlet just going, and people are going crazy about you, and I love it. And the reason for this is you're not just a health coach or what we would call a personal trainer, what someone might call, but you're a certified lifestyle mentor, which that takes a lot. And then you're gonna have to share with us when you're an executive performance coach, what exactly that means, because I've got so many ideas in my head what that means, but I'm sure you've got a whole strategy on what you do and how you help people to be their best and be at their best. And the other thing that's really awesome that I just adore about you is just your strength within your family. You're a dad. You have two beautiful daughters. You have an amazing relationship with your wife, which that is a pattern of success all in itself, because having that bond and then be able to, I call you guys the dynamic duo. You guys are out there fighting battles, traveling the world, doing amazing things together. And then with that, you're able to help your clients with their own lifestyle because you're living that and you know what could be obstacles. So I'm admiring you from afar. And
Wow. Jasper, thank you.
And I also ordered your book, but unfortunately, it was completely sold out in all the Barnes and Nobles, which is a great thing.
No way. Oh,
I'm telling you.
Well, that is a good thing, I guess.
Well, it's the
Not so good, but good.
Well, it's the Whole Life Manifesto that I'm going to be getting tomorrow, and I'm going to devour it. So everyone else should get their copy because it's the whole thing on 30 minutes a day, what you do with it, and you teach people how to do that, which I'm really excited about. So you've accomplished all these things, and right now we have to explain where you're at, because you're not where it's 7 a.m. for you, it's 8 a.m. for you, and it's 7 a.m. for me. So where are you right now?
Yeah, or 7 p.m. for you right now, right?
Right, it's 7 p.m. for me, and it's 8 a.m. for
you.
Sorry.
So
my time
we
zones
have,
are...
no, hey, I totally get that. So it took us a good week to adjust the time zones, and I had to put a number of different clocks on my phone just to ensure that I was keeping things straight when I was working with some clients that were back in North America. I'm in Bali right now with my family, and we're here for 3 months. And it's our first time living outside of North America as a family. You know, my wife's traveled extensively in her lifetime, myself not so much, other for business. And then my kids, they've traveled all over North America, but they've never been overseas. So here was our opportunity. We had a bit of a space in between my father recently passing and my speaking commitments later this fall at conferences and some keynotes. So we had this opportunity, and we thought we'd take advantage of it, because also I'm being pulled in a lot of directions when I'm in North America, and we have some new exciting projects that we're working on, and we just wanted to really experience another culture. So what better way? So people are probably thinking, well, what about your kids' school? And they are life schooled, or as my wife will say very eloquently, road schooled when we were traveling around North America in our SUV, you know. And so yeah, we pulled them out of school a couple of years ago, and at the same time we launched my book, and I had just left a career of 17 years. My wife left her job a month after I left my career, and we set in motion a very different way of living. And really, we like to call it our life by design. And it's not the norm, but you'd be surprised. There's a lot more people that are adapting to this nomadic, minimalistic lifestyle because we do have a lot of tools, which you are exploring on this summit with a lot of the other speakers. They've gone to this more of a digital nomadic lifestyle, where they have the opportunity to work anytime, anywhere, as long as they got a Wi-Fi connection, you know. And that was the only real contingent I had with my wife. You know, the conditional was, okay, I don't care where we stay in Bali, but I need Wi-Fi, you know. and as you can see, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. You know, we've had a couple hiccups while we've been here, but it's been a great experience so far. So yes, you can see my traditional Balinese artwork that decorates the villa that we've rented, and yeah, it's quite the experience.
I love it. It's beautiful. It's like a complete goal, that all of us will have, to want to be in a different country for 3 months straight. That's beautiful. So cool. To get there, it took a while, obviously, but you worked for a very large company, in your other life. We could call that the before, where,
Sure.
so to take that leap as an entrepreneur, I mean, what was the attraction for you? Because you probably had no idea that you'd be in Bali for 3 months when you first said, I'm done. I put in my
No.
2 weeks,
Yeah, I did give. I left on really good terms. I gave almost a year notice.
wow.
I was a C-level, also a founding partner for the company. So leaving after 17 years is a big deal, especially because I was being pruned to be the CEO. But I realized that it wasn't a path that was in line with some of my wife and I's aspirations and visions, and things had just changed. We all grow as people, right? And as we grow, ambitions change, and visions and goals, and just our purpose in life sometimes deviates slightly. And when you realize that you're on a different path, and where you have been trudging for a long time, a lot of us get into this sort of pattern, and we just think, well, this is it. This is where I'm meant to be, and this is where I'm going to be forever. And at least that's the way I was thinking as I was moving up the echelons in the business space that I was in. And it was still in the fitness industry. I was selling fitness equipment, both retail and wholesale, through a very large company in Western Canada. And I thought that, this is it. I made it. I'm done. And you start to realize there's just other things in life that you value and you cherish. And I'll tell you, when I had kids, things shift. Mm-hmm. They shift very quickly because, we all look at each other, ourselves in the mirror every day. And we see that person and we don't see the changes, unless we start looking back on photos, those throwback Thursdays. Oh, I took that photo 10 years ago. Man, I look a lot different now because, it's time, it's age, it's wisdom that's being acquired, if you will, as you're also acquiring knowledge in whatever specialization that you're working within. And, just to make a long story short, it got to a point where my wife realized that we need to make some changes. So I wrote a personal manifesto, which was also the seedlings that eventually became my book. But it was a Jerry Maguire moment, and I'm sure a lot of the people that are watching this interview right now have either come to this realization at some point in their life, or maybe they're almost there right now, where they're just like, I'm not really happy. Life is flying by. Right? My kids are barometers in time. Every time I look at them, I think that, my gosh, they're growing up so quick. And that was an accelerant on the fire for us to make this change. And I wrote this personal manifesto. And in that manifesto, I set out all these goals that I wanted to achieve before I was 40. And I wrote it when I was 37. I'm now 40. And so this sort of just gives you some timeline, some context to that transition. Like from the time I wrote that manifesto to the time that we actually put everything in motion, what was just under 2 years. So it happened very, very, very quickly when we actually made the decision, even though we talked about it a lot. We dream built a lot. We had vision boards with certain places around the world that we wanted to see. But we didn't feel that the path that we were on was really going to allow us that opportunity to fulfill those visions that we had for ourselves. And it's scary, guys. Okay, it's totally scary. And did we know what we were doing? No. It was a bit of a roll of the dice. But what's the worst that can happen?
Right.
We got our family, we got our friends. We can always go back and get our regular 9-to-5s again. And
that's probably the worst thing that could happen, actually, to me.
Yes. So we took that leap. And so here we are now. And of course, I had some other business ventures that I had been more of a hobbyist with, building my personal brand, doing my coaching on the side, mentorship programs, that kind of stuff. And then we just made that more of a full-time focus to allow us this lifestyle.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you for having the manifesto. I'm with you. That's out of the movie. I love, now that I know where it came from, the whole Jerry Maguire thing. That's awesome. So when you're building your personal platform, alongside because you probably took your knowledge from being the COO. That's what you were in the other company.
I'm a systems guy. Yeah.
So then, how did you apply those systems? What systems would you say you've applied into your business that have made you successful? I mean, because you have all these different social media things going on. You've got different clients that you're working with. I mean, your day is packed. So for you to enjoy that time and not overwhelm yourself, what do you put in place for that to happen?
Well, I tend to average 6 hours a night sleep, just so you know, full disclosure. And I'm also a 5 a.m. riser. Okay, I've been like that for over half my life now. And I'd always have that opportunity first thing in the morning from about 5 to 7:30, where I was extremely productive with my time. Either I was getting my workout in, I was practicing some mindfulness, I was doing something that was going to develop me personally, but also I was working on my personal brand or pieces of my brand, because there was a split a number of years ago with I was sort of the face for the company I was working at, because I seemed to be the only guy that wanted to do the media, wanted to have the conversations with other individuals and that were in that sort of space, right? I became that spokesperson, if you would, for my company as well, even though I'd be more than happy to have someone else have the spotlight on them. It just, we didn't have anybody within an organization that wanted it. But at the same time, when social media started really developing, I read Gary Vaynerchuk's book a long time ago called Crush It. It was his first book. And for those that haven't read it, it's still it's a great book. He's written, I think, 3 or 4 more since then, which I've had the opportunity to read. And they're great resources. Gary Vaynerchuk, for those of you that aren't familiar with him, check him out. And I learned a lot from his teachings, and I just applied what I learned. And I think that's the biggest thing, just to get right to the point. When I would go and I would learn something, or I would read or hear something, because social media, I don't come from marketing, all right? I didn't go to school for marketing. I didn't go to school for social media. And anybody that tells you they have, I'm like, well, how do you keep up with the curriculum, okay? Because it changes like daily, I have no idea how you create a curriculum in social media management, because it's just such a new industry and it's changing so fast. And so myself, when I would learn something, I would then go and apply it, try it. And when I would find something that would work, I would just continue to do that. Now, and it's funny because those that are in the wellness industry, listen, we work with people all the time, and we work with people and really we think wellness is fairly straightforward. You make good decisions and you execute those decisions often. Like, really, that's what it boils down to. You want to burn a little bit of body fat. Well, we got to create a negative calorie balance, right? In some fashion. Maybe we do that with just a bit more exercise, keep eating what we're eating. Maybe we start eating a little bit smarter and continue to exercise. We just make lifestyle choices. And in the wellness industry, that's what we're trying to encourage our clients to do. Well, why don't we apply that to ourselves when it comes to the business side of things? And so that's something that I've been an ongoing learner all my life, and I continue to learn. But knowledge and wisdom are very different. Very, very different. And I like people to realize this. And I'm going to give you some. So all you guys that are coaches or business owners, you're going to love this one. This is one that you want to write down. Okay. Wisdom and knowledge. What is the difference? Well, here's the easiest way to explain a difference, especially when you're coaching a client. All right. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are a fruit. That is knowledge. If you know that, it's knowledge. Wisdom is knowing not to put tomatoes in a fruit salad. All right. So that is the difference between wisdom and knowledge, right? It's practical application of the things that we learn, and we continuously adapt based on what we're learning and what we're getting as far as feedback's concerned. And that was really what allowed me to propel myself in social. Also having a unique name, a unique voice. And I never got into the game of comparitis. I never suffered from comparitis. I didn't look at what other trainers, what other coaches. I still don't look at what they're doing unless I'm trying to check out somebody from a system standpoint and figure out, well, how are they executing this campaign or this promotion? Because I'm fascinated by that. What changes, what makes something a successful campaign versus an unsuccessful campaign, when clearly the offer is awesome, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And that's the mechanics, and I'm always fascinated by that. And so, yeah, that was really what happened. And I just dabbled. I was a hobbyist. And it wasn't until about three and a half years ago I became more focused with it. But I started blogging back 2007. It's 10 years now I've been blogging, creating good content. Okay, content is king. Context is queen. And those two pieces, you put them side by side, and that was always focused. I was not motivated by money. I still am not motivated by money. And I just want to provide added value and create content that people digest and consume and apply. All right. And it moves them along in life. It moves that needle forward. Right. And that's been the big focus. So that is my underlying driver. Right. And for those of you probably thinking, well, there's all these different social channels. Which one do I pick? Well, you know what? You have to know a bit about your audience. You have to know who they are, a little bit of demographics, maybe some psychoanalytics. Try to figure out some stuff about who are you trying to connect with? Who is your niche? You hear in marketing, the term avatar. Who is your avatar? And think about who you want to connect with and serve. Chances are you're already serving them in real life. And now if you want to do it in a digital space, well, you can cast a much wider net because you're not bound geographically any longer. There's no more boundaries. You have a global market through the World Wide Web. And but you have to be clear on who you want to help.
Yeah.
And really figure out where do they hang their hat? Where do those people hang out online? Chances are probably Facebook. If and Instagram, those two platforms are massive, right? Instagram just, I think in the last week, surpassed its billionth user, right? Like, it's crazy. It's ginormous. And LinkedIn now, it's just surpassed 500 million active users, it's fantastic. There's some great platforms out there, but do you have to be on all of them? Hell no. I've tried every one of them, but there's the ones that I tend to be on the most, and it's not like I'm there 24/7, but I dedicate probably at least an hour a day to social.
Well, good for you. So are you doing this all by yourself? Otherwise, I've been thinking you're a superhero if you are. Not only
I give my wife crazy props. Christy is she has a great way of explaining it. She's like, yeah, Dai's the head of the relationship, but I'm the neck down.
I love that. I love that. That's my saying too. And she can turn the head any direction she wants.
Anytime. And you know what? She is a fantastic people person and an uplifter, and we always say a life enhancer. And she's also a life coach and also has a background in fitness and wellness. And so the two of us working together, at least from a messaging standpoint and coaching, it's been a lot of fun. And so with her, she really gives me the space, makes the space for me, the time, so I can dedicate to some of these pieces that I have to continuously manage, so that when it comes to schooling the kids and that I try to help as best as I can. But you can imagine that some of my time is already committed to other revenue streams for us. And but without her, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, and a lot of the new ventures that we're working on right now that we're really excited about, we're doing together. We're building something that we can both work together. So because we both have very different skill sets and we deal with people very differently. And she's much more empathetic than I am, where I'm not like the militant coach, but I don't like excuses, I really don't. I shared with you, Jasper, that I was morbidly obese as a teen, 5 years of my life I spent morbidly obese, BMI of over 40. I know what it's like to be unhealthy and to be in a state of unhealth and feel sad and hopeless and having a low self-esteem and low self-image. And gosh, I know. So I can relate very well with my clients that I coach through weight loss and physical transformations. However, it's the stories that we tell ourselves inside our head, those patterns, and trying to interrupt those patterns with people. I don't have a lot of patience for that. I give it time. I'm nice, but I'm firm. So we complement each other very well.
Well, that's good.
Sometimes I knock people on the mat and she'll pick them back up. So,
right. Well, that's a huge success trait right there. Because I don't know if I'm sure you've read the book Think and Grow Rich, but he talks about how we have to have our mastermind, we call it infinite intelligence with our spouse. And that's a huge key factor in what you've been able to accomplish. And that's something that we all would love to have. Absolutely.
Well, I think we all can have it, right? Any day, the opportunity to draw that line in the sand and realize that when you step over, everything that happened behind it's behind you. You don't have to keep turning around to look at it. Listen, you just went through it. You experienced it. It's all good,
That's right.
I forget it. And it's funny because a lot of people will see what we're doing and they think, man, you guys got your stuff together, And I'm like, no. Just so you know, we like anybody that thinks that they got their shit together. Well, I heard it once from a speaker. Yeah, those that think that they do, that they're actually just standing in it,
Right.
So I may not be moving forward,
that.
I'm moving back. It's just, listen, we deal with it. We learn, we adapt, and we're constantly moving forward. But we put ourselves in positions to feel uncomfortable, and we're okay with that. That's why we continue to move forward. And anybody that's feeling like they just haven't pushed themselves like that yet, well, that's where a good coach or mentor comes in.
That's good. So you've overcome a lot of things on your own too that that's why you are like the morbidly obese, but then also overcoming addiction. Because addiction, you can take it in so many different directions. And you
Sure.
can take it from food to alcohol to drugs to sex to spending money. I mean, there's so many things that we have addictions on that are masking what is the really big issue. So
Right.
you had to overcome your own addictions. And can you explain what
Yeah,
that
sure. I
revealed to
mean,
you and what were the aha moments for you on that?
yeah, like as a child, you can imagine going through that transformation of losing a lot of weight and being in that state of unhealth and just having to overcome a lot of self-confidence and image issues, especially as a teen that was prepubescent and then eventually going through puberty and dealing with all that stuff. And I think goodness we didn't have social media back then because I'm raising a couple teens right now with social media, and it's like, whoa, it's a completely different world now. And we're actually kind of grateful that we homeschool the kids because I'm just like, I'm amazed. It's just a much different space now, right? But for myself back then, I didn't really. I was always seeking out to get approval of people, and I still do. And my wife points it out to me every once in a while, because I'm very much that guy that likes the hey. That a boy, good job, well done. If you've read the 5 love languages, I'm very much of affirmation. It's one of my languages, and so I've always been seeking out the approval of others. And when I started in later teen years, early 20s, and I started to excel in my career and really, I was working as a personal trainer, and I was working as an instructor in kickboxing and boxing, and I was doing jiu-jitsu. Like, I was doing all sorts of stuff, right? A lot of individualized sports, but whenever I jump into something, I would jump all in. Now, you take that trait and you apply it to situations where peer pressure can play into and certain substances. It became very easy for me to mask certain feelings that I would have and insecurities with those substances because, they give you a great temporary relief, right? I mean, that's why we're all looking to plug those holes, whether it be with food. I've seen people with exercise, addicted to exercise, I still feel that addiction often it's a choice, right? We actively choose to continue to do the pattern. I don't feel that the substances necessarily have full control over us and our faculties. I do realize there is some physical dependency in a lot of cases, some hormonal issues and imbalances, but I believe there's always an opportunity to correct those. And for myself, it was alcohol and other substances. I would use them to numb myself. And it was, I guess I would have been 33. It's over 7 years ago. I haven't had a drink. I share this on my platform. I've written a series of articles called Addiction Free Life, and I partnered with Baldwin Institute and St. Jude Retreats out of actually New York State that work with people through this type of process and transformation. So we align to create some great content for people to really give them some guidance, some help. So if you go to my platform, you can get the full story there. I've shared a few videos where I talk about the story and the turning point for me. And but it was a great, I needed to go through that turning point, but I had to hit rock bottom, and I did. And it's funny because everybody on the outside looking in had no idea. But I became more vocal about this and started sharing this about 18 months ago. And it's brought me a lot of different individuals into my life, and I'm very grateful for those relationships now. And it's, again, for all those that are watching this interview right now, like, is there an underlying story that would show your vulnerability, show your human side? Because we're all like that, guys. We're all humans. We all have certain sensitivities to certain issues in our lives, but a lot of us are just very private about those. But we realize as we're trying to grow our businesses, when we start to share some of these stories of what really drives us in the path that we're on right now, especially when people see us, they just think, man, you're just so committed to, you're just all in. You're like, you're all go, 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 go. And I'm like, no, but we're focused and we feel very clear about the path that we're on. And because of that, it just makes decision making very easy, or at least I should say simple, because sometimes, there's the fear of missing out. If I say yes to this, I'm saying no to something else. So What am I saying no to? I don't know about that yet. But I went through that transformation, and I just realized that, alcohol was something I didn't need in my life. I feel very confident I could have a drink right now, and it wouldn't be a problem. But I just have really no desire for it. I don't see it moving me forward. And also being the health guy that I am, I just don't see any positive aspects to drinking, and that's just me. It's just me. My wife likes her occasional glass of wine here and there, but she'll pour herself a glass. She rarely ever gets through it all. She likes that social aspect though of sitting down with a girlfriend and having a great conversation over a glass of wine. And I get it. So you have to ask yourself: is it moving you forward or taking you back in life? And I think, Jasper, we've had conversations off, camera and when not interviewing, and really, it does often come down to the choices that we make. But a lot of us don't have any filters to put our choices through. That we don't have a framework.
Right.
We make choices very quickly and just execute on them, not thinking about any potential repercussions or how it's going to affect us long term.
Right.
And it can be both in the positive and the negative, right? And The Compound Effect by is it Darren Hardy? A great book. It's fantastic, but it talks about the positive and the negative impacts of small, sometimes insignificant or seemingly insignificant decisions in our lives. But we don't realize that we make these decisions often, and they have a compounding effect. They build upon each other, and it can do it either positively or negatively. An extra 150 calories a day above and beyond what you actually need physically over a year. Well, we hear the stat, the average individual in North America puts on 6 to 8 pounds, right, of fat a year after the age of 25. Well, how's that happen? Well, it happens gradually. It's not like you wake up one morning, man, I gained 8 pounds last night. What happened? It happens over time. And the same applies with a lot of these other decisions in our lives.
Yes.
And if you take that same framework and you apply it to your business, right? I treat my business, it's a lifestyle business. Okay? It's a reflection of our life that we're living. We use social to show, not to tell people what to do. It's like, hey, just watch us. That we're showing you what we do. We're all of our channels are wide open. You'll notice that I don't have anything on private. It's like if I can't post it, well, I can't post it. It's just that's it. But everything we put out there as a way to hopefully inspire, motivate, and educate our communities, and we try to do it in a fun and engaging way. That is it. Those are our filters, and away we go. And we do that both in business and personal, because for us, it's one and the same.
Yeah, I agree. Can I ask you one more question?
Absolutely.
This has to do with eliminating the things in your life that aren't working. So that kind of segues into the whole addiction. But you eliminated quite a bit. You called it downsizing. I call it expanding because you made room for you made room for so much more. But you eliminated quite a bit. I mean, because you have a rule now that you can only have three shoes to travel with. And you had a lot prior. So can you explain to everyone what you eliminated and actually what it opened up for you? Because that, to me, when you eliminate, when you clean off the desk and you get rid of a lot of stuff that's not working, that creates focus. And it allows you to focus on what are your priorities. And so what it did for you, eliminating, and whatever that elimination was, I mean, you can go that with any direction.
Yeah, right. Well, for us, obviously, because we had this end goal or this vision of going traveling, and originally it was just, we'd take a year off. Like I honestly thought I'd leave my career take a year sabbatical and we go travel. And then as we went through that process and that discovery, and we started seeing how the current path we were on was not aligned with the path we wanted to be on anymore. When we realized that we weren't on, we had these two paths and they're running in parallel. And I used to think I could walk both. But it came a point when I realized that I can't, because the paths are actually, as much as they were seeming like they were going side by side, there was actually one that was going slightly askew. You probably heard the idea, how do you turn an ocean liner around, right? Very slowly, right? It's a gradual change. Right. But all it takes is one deviation, one little deviation, and you compound that over 24 hours and you're completely off course. And so here I am trying to juggle two paths, and one's going this way and this one's going this way. I realize that I can't do the splits. I can't juggle both. And there's going to come a point where I have to decide. And it got to that point when we were making our decisions and we're like, you know what? This feels right. This is pulling us. This is yanking at us. And so then we downsized our lifestyle, because obviously I was leaving a very stable career, a stable income. My wife was leaving her income. But when you start to look at the possibilities, like we had some income coming in from what I was doing on the side, it was nowhere near where it was, and it still isn't anywhere near what I was earning before, what I do now. But we started to look at our current lifestyle and the lifestyle we were wanting to lead to chase this new passion, this vision that we had for our family, our communities, but also for our life, and which incorporated travel, family, connecting with communities. And we realized all the stuff that we had. So we had a 2-bedroom, 1-den condo. We had downsized over the number of years. We had gone from like what we thought into more of a home, into a townhome, into a condo in Vancouver. And then even then we got to a point where like, why do we have all this stuff? We got so much stuff. And it was a cleansing when we got rid of everything. But I'm going to be honest with you, this is a very hard process for me, getting rid of everything, especially when I started looking at the replacement cost. Because I didn't necessarily put a dollar amount on everything that we had, but what I did put on it was an emotional price tag. And that emotional price tag came with the time that I knew it took me to work to earn the money, or what I had to do to get that piece, that good. When I say those goods, like those shoes. And I was awful, guys. Like I am, full disclosure on this, my wife posted when we were going through the process of cleaning out all the closets, she put all my shoes in a pile. And then she took out her and my 2 daughters, all their shoes, and put them in a pile. My pile was about 4 times greater than all 3 of their shoes.
Wow.
Collections put together. I had a problem, guys. I had a problem. All right.
That's the first step, right?
Yeah. But it was the replacement cost. And when you start to evaluate things, it's not really the dollar amount on the item itself. It's more so, my gosh, I've already gone out of pocket. The dollars represent an amount of time that you had to invest or spend, right, of your own life to amass the dollar to then buy that thing. And all of a sudden now I'm going to get rid of these things. Like I'm just going to get rid of them. Well, what happens? What if I want to come back to this life? What if I want to get a condo again, and I want to get a home again, and I want that pair of shoes again? Oh, well, now I've got to go out and do it all over again. And so it's this fear of like almost like a repeat, right? And having to redo things and invest more time again for something that I already had. But when I started to look at all this and started to really understand and look introspectively into what was making me feel so uncomfortable and so uneasy, it was just this idea of this replacement cost. But I was like, I don't really need any of this stuff. Why did I get it in the first place, And a lot of times it was just to fill a void. Why do, shopping therapy, right? We buy stuff often that we don't really need. It sits in our closet. And I remember that show Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, right? Like I used to love that reality show because it was great. Like my clothes were horrible. I had 1.5 closets of clothing. Of that, maybe 1/10 of it I'd actually wear on a regular basis. So based on that, I should have thrown out a lot of that stuff a long time ago. So this forced us, and whatever we could fit in the back of our SUV is what we could keep. And then we had some baby mementos and certain emotional items that had a very, very deep meaning to us that we put into a storage unit. And that was it. And then we looked at our overhead, looked at our costs. What is our monthly expenditure for the lifestyle that we have right now? This lifestyle that we want over here, what would we need to sustain that? And when you eliminate a lot of that other stuff that we just seem to amass based on the lifestyle choices that we make, and you simplify things, you can do pretty much whatever you want, and it's very freeing. It's very cleansing. It was a great experience, but I had 3 months of all-out stress. Okay, going through that process. I'm all open book on this. My wife was great. She was, thank goodness, she was the neck down because she kept this head nice and cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
It is a spiritual thing to do that too. I mean, when you do clean out a closet, or in business. I have a realtor friend, a very successful realtor. He said that anytime he wants to sell a house or get a new client, he cleans his desk and completely cleans his office, makes room for it, and he always gets a new client the moment he does that.
That's great. So, and I think it's true because you're preparing yourself, and your energy level changes too. I know I'm nowhere near as wound up as I used to be. Okay. I'm still a little bit, I'm that guy that's like, okay, let's go, let's do this, right. And, but it's nice because we just eliminated a lot of things in our life that was just really bogging us down.
Yeah.
It was just stuff filling a void. Yeah. And it was based on a lifestyle path that we thought was right for us. but it wasn't. And we came to that realization. I think that was the thing that really scared us the most, was realizing, we're completely uprooting and changing the way we live day to day. Oh, we make every decision, based on our gut instinct. We felt that we were. And then after making that commitment and following through with it, we're now 20, 21 months down that path of traveling together as a family, on the road, the homeschooling, all that stuff. We can honestly say, yeah, it was the best decision we've ever made. It was right for us. Right. And I want that to be very clear, because I have a lot of people that reach out to me for coaching on business and personal, and whether it be life or business, whatever. And some people tell me they want to make a big change, that they want to be traveling the world. They want to be doing things. But when you start to analyze what needs to be done, because it takes a bit of work to set yourself up to do that. And when people realize it's more than just this great dream, that the dream does take a little bit of work to make into a realization, right. It can be a little bit disheartening, right? Discouraging. But I like to be a realist in that respect and say, listen, there's certain things that you have to prep to make this happen. I'm not saying it's not possible. Everything's possible, but it's require a bit of work, and you're going to get very uncomfortable, but it's so worth it. And is it the lifestyle for everybody? Heck no. I know that for full on. I have a lot of friends. They're like, you are nuts. They look at us and like, you guys are crazy. I could never do that. And I'm like, well, really? Is it you don't want to do it, or you can't do it? Because they're two very different things, right? Oh, I don't want to do it. Okay, well, that's better, because that's at least you choosing, rather than you telling yourself that it's just something that you would never be able to do because you just can't do it. Because and that's just such a limiting belief, And we have a rule in our house: you can't use that 4-letter C word. Can't. It's not allowed in our house.
But there is a 4-letter word that you do a lot, and that's give. And you are a very generous person. And one thing that I've just experienced just from learning from you and everything that you've got out there, you just give and give and give. And I hope you gave those shoes to people.
We sure did. Yeah. In Vancouver, there's a lot of people I know in my circles. We anybody that had size 12 was welcome to pick up a couple pairs. And then everything else we actually donated. Yeah, we donated everything. And the Syrian refugees were actually coming into Vancouver at that time. It just happened to be at the same time that we were downsizing. So a lot of our appliances, like literally everything, went to some Syrian refugees that were transplanted into Vancouver and looking to set up, their homes. And so it was cool. And then we have a couple charities that we're aligned with as well. And we just said, hey, come and get it.
That's wonderful. So by giving, did you experience getting so much more back when you did that?
We did, emotionally and psychologically. For us, it was great. Like, I mean, we took a lot of stress off of ourselves by giving. And we've been just giving all the time. Like, we are selfish that way. Okay. And then it's funny. People go, what are you talking about? Like, you're giving all the time. I'm like, yeah, we're completely selfish in that regards, because right. So, we always feel like we get way more out of it than the people that we're giving to. And it's just how we feel. Like, we've volunteered our time for over 6 years now, where when we're in Vancouver, we coach people for free on Sundays. We donated a lot of time, a lot of our energy to coach people. And it wasn't just fitness, it wasn't just exercise. What people came in thinking that they were going to get some physical transformation and join a community of supporting people to help them do that. But it was so much more, because we saw people grow from an emotional and spiritual side as well. And when I say spiritual, it's just that underlying purpose. I don't want, I'm talking non-denominational spirituality here, right? Faith. It's that idea that we have an underlying purpose in our lives. Sometimes we just need a little help discovering what that is. And when you're in line with your purpose and your vision, it's amazing where life can take you. It's just a beautiful experience. And some people just need a little bit of help digging it out. It's there. It's just buried. Okay. So giving is a big thing for us, and we try to encourage everybody to give a little bit here and there. And when you start to see the positive that can bring back in your own life, and when people see you giving, they in turn want to give as well.
Absolutely.
I think we can be role models in that regard. And I look at our kids, and we took them along all the time. People are like, well, what about your kids? Even when I was competing in CrossFit, my kids came to every competition. They could watch Dad compete. They would connect with other kids and other families there, and if I was going and doing a talk at a conference, often we would take the kids, they were around. We took them everywhere, because I have parents reach out, well, how do you do all this stuff with your kids? I'm like, well, they're there. We're a family. We're doing this together,
Just pack them and go. That's what I heard from another successful person. You just got to pack them and go.
We're always packed because it's just what's in our SUV and away we go.
That's right.
It's pretty good that way.
So
mobile.
Because you have so much that you offer to so many people, but for the people that have listened and they stayed with us this time, you do have amazing things that you're giving. And could you share with me what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're going to get digital copies of 2 of my books, and one of which is the Whole Life Fitness Manifesto. And obviously, if you want a physical copy, you can go to your local bookstore or Amazon's really easy to get it. And but I'm going to give you the digital copy. Both in PDF and EPUB versions, so depending on your kind of reader. As well, you get a copy of our 7-day green smoothie book, and it's really just we have something in our Whole Life Fitness Manifesto tribe where we try to encourage people to eat more green leafy vegetables, and some people struggle with that. So we put together 7 of our favorite green smoothie recipes, and we give them to you, and we just encourage you for the 7 days leading up before you commit to the Whole Life Fitness Manifesto. You use that as a reset, reboot, reconfig, relaunch your life, and you'll be amazed at when you flood your body with nutrients, especially micronutrients or phytonutrients as they're called, that comes from green leafy vegetables and other vegetables. It is you supercharge yourself, and just starting every day for 1 week with a green smoothie, and we give you the recipes, and you'll see they're awesome. So you'll get both of those books, and you get access for free to the Whole Life Fitness Manifesto tribe. We have a private Facebook group. We have a daily email. We do a daily workout every day. Our motto is you can work out on your own, but you're never alone. And I want you to feel that way.
Yeah.
There's a massive community, and why not use social for good? There's a great opportunity here that you can connect with others going through similar journeys, traveling similar journeys, and we're all there to uplift ourselves. The only condition, if you want to join the group, you got to be positive. You've got to be there to contribute in a positive way to that community, and if you're having a problem or you need some help, we say reach out to the tribe, reach out to Christy and I. We're here to support, and to help you through that, because chances are in that group, we have actively 2,500 to 3,000 people participating in the challenge on a monthly basis. Wow. And it's an ongoing thing, guys. It's an ongoing phase. Your life doesn't end. So why should your fitness routine? And but we do it in 28-day blocks, 28-day phases. So it's 28 days on, 7 days off. And we call that our reset week, is when we take a week off. And you can still be active. We still provide you with some stuff, but the one-on-one aspect of the daily emails and that doesn't happen during that week off. And then we do it again. And then we do it again. And there's a lot of life aspects to it, lifestyle aspects, and body, mind, and spirit. It's a 3-pronged approach. We started our conversation today, Jasper, talking about that. And I'm more than just a trainer, and I like people to know that. Yes, I'm a fitness trainer. Yes, I'm a nutrition coach, but I'm also a life coach and business coach. And so you take these multifacets, and I truly believe that that's the direction that trainers and a lot of people in the fitness industry need to go, because we do so much more than just help people with their physicality, their bodies, their cardio conditioning, their strength. There's so much more, and to really best serve our clients, I think it's the direction that trainers need to look. They need to go. They need to look at that life coaching piece and be able to offer a more holistic approach to helping people make those sustained lifestyle changes.
Well, I love it. Thank you so much. You just jam-packed so much information within this amount of time. So if anybody doesn't take anything from this, then I don't know what to say. But you did it amazing. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. And thanks again, Jasper.